We're here to discuss the notion of artivism. So I wanted to ask you first why you use this word and if you like it, why?
Well, I think, first of all, we are in a time of crisis in language and terms. And I think, in general, because we are in the 21st century and we are trying to come up with new structures to deal with problems in society, it is important to also find new words to define the practice that we're doing. So I think, in this sense, Artivism is an old word that we are rescuing, so it's something that other people came up with. But I think it's important to say in the same word two functions: art and the role of art in society as an opener of social conscience, not only as a producer, but also as the initiator of conversation in society. And activism because we want to have in the work and in the conversation active citizen, people who do care about their role as citizen as part of this bigger project that we are all doing together. So that's why. Um, Not every word is perfect, but I think this is a way to at least start. When you say I'm an artivist, you force the other person to understand that you believe in art and you are being trained to deal with the language of emotions and of analytical of language, but at the same time you are interested in being engaged actively in your surroundings, your
Something,
social.
yeah, something interesting you said is that somehow this word engages other people.
Yeah. Well, I think there is a preconception, like what we doing. I think we are at the moment in political art where we have left the traditional institution of the museum, of the galleries, and we are trying to talk to people who usually don't have a close and personal relationship with art. So I think it is very important to understand, um, let's say, the proportions of this new field. Like, the public sphere is huge, but at the same time it has to be personal because that's the space where art works at, like at a personal, intimate moment. And I think in this sense, that's one of the challenges we have. Like, how can we bring a new vision about what an artist is to this broad group of people who have a very old idea of an artist as a crazy person in the studio making these paintings, inadequate socially, you know. And yes, they might be those people, but also there are other people who do not have this idea for themselves as artists.
So you don't think your use of the word is for you as an artist, but it's mostly for what it expresses to the rest of the society about art
Well,
and its role in society.
when you use it yourself as an artist, it is a reminder of your duty as an artist to society. But also, there is another side of this. I think I have been seeing more and more activists who wants to call themselves artivists, and this is the other side of the coin because I think there is also the time for activists, and we have seen this across the world, rethinking the language they express, that they use to express their ideas and their demands to governments and to institutions. And I think this is where art comes very handy. Because I think sometimes, let's say, you go to a rally and you hear the same old shoutings, and it's comforting because it brings you to the history of the struggle, right? But at the same time, you have a new generation that might need to talk in a different language than this old struggle language. And this is where art comes as a very good tool to bring new solutions and new options to express. And I feel that right now, in a way, the people are showing that it is the moment for the social body to be shown. And you know, and also this is something performance art, for example, works very good with. And also I think it's a time for symbolic communication, you know, across our political ideas, because that's, we don't have access to real power as activists, and they are there and we are here, and we're trying to go there and create bridges, right, for them to hear us and for us to be able to change, you know. And I think art is great because people, if you come to a politician with an art state, like a political statement, it might isolate them and put them in a defensive mode. But if you come with the human point of view, and if you come with the emotional uh, translation of the issue, they might be more open to, I don't know, in your case, what is your experience? Because you're dealing with this in a more direct way. How do you feel? Because you guys are a very good example of using art as a way to communicate political, create political bridges.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do at European Alternative is to create those bridges between what's considered as the art world or the arts and people who are more involved in fighting for their, well, not more, like, and people who are involved in fighting for their ideas with other means, like more discursive means. But I think for us, it's not always easy to bring together artists and activists. So in a way,
there is some kind of mutual predisposition, negative predisposition. Like artists do not want to see themselves, like the idea of saying Artivism is a little sacrilegic in the art world. Not so much anymore, because more and more, thank God, people are being saying, yes, I'm an activist, and why? Well, no problem, you know. But I think you're right, I think there is a mutual preconception of each other's role, and Artivism is a way to say, no, we actually have a lot in common.